Hi Year 3 and 4, it's Miss Allen here with another RE video. We're on week 4 and we're looking at AT1, so learning about religion. And my learning challenges this week are: can you describe signs, symbols and actions using religious words and phrases and give some reasons? That's the Year 3 learning challenge. The Year 4 learning challenge: can you use a developing religious vocabulary to give reasons for many religious actions and symbols? So last week we looked at Martin Luther King. This week we're following on from that by looking at Oscar Romero, and we're actually talking about how people become saints and how they become blessed and how they become martyrs. So firstly we're going to look at this word, canonisation. This is the process of becoming a saint. So this happens when someone dies and the church proves that the person lived in God's way and they must have loved others and loved God. In the Catholic Church, at least 2 miracles must be proven to be caused by the person after they die. So a person had to pray or ask the saint to pray for them in heaven. If the prayer is answered and a miracle happens, they know the person is a saint. The miracles prove that the saint must be in heaven with God and are able to ask God for prayers to be answered. Normally, if the church finds proof of one miracle, they can be beatified. Then they are called blessed, like Blessed Oscar Romero, Blessed Mother Teresa. To be canonised, there usually needs to be proof of a second miracle, though sometimes the Pope has let people be canonised anyway. Then they are called a saint. So now we're going to look more about Oscar Romero. So Saint Oscar Romero was born on 15th of August 1917 in El Salvador, Central America. When he left school, he became a carpenter, but soon decided he wanted to become a priest. So here on the map is El Salvador. Most people here were very poor and earned little, whilst there was a few who were rich and owned lots of land. This unfairness made people very angry, but the rich were powerful, and if anyone complained, then they were imprisoned or killed. In 1977, Oscar Romero became the Archbishop of San Salvador, the capital. He was a quiet, shy man, and nobody thought he would speak out about the unfair treating of poor people. So here now is a picture of Father Rutilio Grande. This is one of Romero's friends who worked with poor communities and spoke out about how unfair things were and demanded better living conditions for poor people. For this, he was shot dead. His death upset and angered Romero, who insisted on justice for his friend, but this never happened. So after the death of his friend, Oscar Romero stopped being a quiet man and spoke out about what was happening to the poor people in his country. He would speak out against violence on his radio sermons. Now this is one of his quotes. "Many would like the poor to keep on saying it is God's will for them to live that way, but it is not God's will for some to have everything and others to have nothing. That cannot be of God." Even though he was afraid that he would be killed, his strong faith in God helped him to carry on. Unfortunately, on the 24th of March 1980, Oscar Romero was celebrating Mass when a car drew up and shot through the open church door. This killed him. Through his life and through his death, Oscar Romero remains a powerful example and inspiration for all who believe in working for justice. A martyr, or someone who dies for what they believe, doesn't need proof of a miracle to be beatified. Pope Francis announced that Oscar Romero was a martyr and he was beatified in El Salvador on the 23rd of May. Pope Francis approved a miracle attributed to Oscar Romero, meaning he could also be canonised. CAFOD partners continue working for justice in El Salvador alongside the poor. So that's a little bit about Oscar Romero and his life. So I've got some questions here for you to be thinking about. You can either think about them, talk to your families about it, or maybe make some notes. What made Oscar Romero extraordinary? Because really he was just an ordinary person. This is what we've been talking about, this topic really, that people are ordinary but they can do extraordinary things. Second question, why do we call Oscar Romero a martyr? Now, can you remember what I said a martyr was? That's someone who dies for what they believe in. So why do we call Oscar Romero a martyr? Why do you think CAFOD looked to Oscar Romero as an example? What things has he done in his life that make him a good role model for other people? And the last question, how does Romero's story help to show us what God is like? So maybe pause that video and maybe you can make some notes or talk to people around you. So, some activities you can do following on from this lesson. You could create a poster diagram or flowchart that we could put on display to explain how someone becomes a saint. So, include all the bold words that I've used in the PowerPoint in your explanations, and use examples from either Oscar Romero's life to prove your point, or perhaps examples from the saint you researched 2 weeks ago. In El Salvador, there's a tradition of producing very colourful crucifixes. The bright decorations not only have a figure of Jesus at the centre, but also include images of the local community set in a Salvadorian landscape. The design has become known in England and Wales as a Romero cross, and there's a picture there. So you could design your own cross with images from your school or local community, thinking about others just like St. Oscar did. So around it you could write words and phrases that described how he lived in God's way, showing why he deserved to be canonised and as a role model. There's a template of this on the document that you can find on the website. It's just right at the bottom if you scroll down. Another activity you could do is maybe write a brief description of his life and work, giving reasons for his words and actions, then answer these questions. How and why is Oscar Romero remembered? How would you like to be remembered? How would your family members like to be remembered? Compare the answer to these questions, maybe as a table, a poster, or in bubbles. Are yours and your family's answers similar or different? Did you think about all of the qualities of a role model? And how do you compare to St. Oscar? So I hope you get on well with these activities. We'd love to see the work that you're handing in. So keep up the good work, guys. All right, see you later. Bye.